Alright guys, what is up? It's the Honor Trader here today, and I'm going to be splitting up two videos here today. I'm going to be talking about NASDAQ futures for the upcoming week, as well as individual stocks. The individual stocks video will be separate from this video. This will be just futures strictly only, because I'm about to go out and get some brunch. So before I go ahead and do that, I wanted to go ahead and knock out this, try to render this out, make a quick thumbnail for it, and get going. But we're going to start off here with the NQ. And I do want to mention the market still feels super euphoric, right? Everyone feels it. Every time we kind of dip, we get soaked right back up and we keep ripping and ripping, to all-time highs again. So the first thing I want to go ahead and do and review over on the NQ here is let's just go over the daily. As you can see, we had a really nice engulfing candle. I believe this was due to like Nvidia's earnings. We ended up just, ripping up, and then the following candle, you can tell we ended up breaking over previous all-time highs, and then we failed off of it, almost like a double top, right? You can see how this kind of looks like a double top right here. Look at this. This is a daily. Really looks like a double top. So I'm not saying that this is actually going to be it for NQ and we're going to revert all the way back. We do have to go ahead and still see how action is going to react on this coming Monday, which leads me to go ahead and state, if we're going to go ahead and look at NQ currently, let me go ahead and bring this out a little bit. Let's bring this out to 90 days, and then let's manual this and do this. All right, so I actually take a little bit off of Vincent. I don't know how to say his last name, but he does like the supply demand videos early in the morning usually. I do use those, like his little strategy, but I will trade like intraday moves, and I won't wait for a macro, I got to get to demand in order to take a trade, or it has to be a supply. I will go ahead and scalp around on an intraday basis, based on like levels intraday. But one thing I want you guys to see is look at this reaction. Look at this nasty top wick on the 1 hour from previous all-time highs. We ripped up and just immediately kind of sold off. And the 1 minute shows it pretty aggressively. But here's what I want to go ahead and state. If on Monday, right, we see this right here, this candle. Oh my God. Okay, let me go ahead and back out a little bit. Just kind of messed that up. Let me go back to auto. If we see this candle right here where my mouse is, if we see this candle and we open up and we're starting to really like tank down, like let's say this is just steady pressure from when futures opens to US Open, which is 9:30. If we somehow are back down here, realistically, think about how many people are going to be like, oh, the trend's over, right? People are going to be like, oh my God, we're gapping. Because if we're back down here, right? If when US opens and NQ is back down here, that means that there's a good chance QQQ is gapping down on the daily. If people are witnessing that gap down, there's a good chance that you're probably going to get a lot of retail or whoever trying to slam down, assuming that we're going to keep breaking down. And that's probably not what we're going to do. We'll probably end up catching a bid and swiping right back up. And then probably fading. Who knows? We got to see how that test is going to end up playing out. On the contrary, if we're catching a bid when we open up in futures market and when US market opens and we're somewhere around here, it's best to be, hands off and see, because this looks kind of nasty when you're looking at it. Like this double top, I know we blew off top, but look how fast we kind of came back down. This is a 1 hour chart, by the way. So one thing to really pay attention to, if we end up opening up in this kind of supply area, and by the way, I don't mark the absolute top because there's really no point. Like, where this is. If you wanted to go ahead and just place like a price alert, like, hey, if we're going to break all-time highs, let me go ahead and, place a price alert for this. You can go, I wouldn't draw a line there. Like, unless like, I want to catch the top of that like wick as a supply line, but other than that, I'll just place a price alert there. And my cat is meowing now. But anyways, So what I want to see is if we pop up here in the morning, like 9:30, 10 o'clock, we're hanging up here. I want to see, are we going to start basing over the top end to break all-time highs again? Or are we actually going to fail again, making it kind of like a triple top, even though it really wouldn't. I mean, I guess it would be, but it wouldn't look sexy for a triple top, and then like fail off. So that's the two things that I would be looking for. So I want to know if when we open, are we going to be kind of gapping down towards this support area, maybe this support area? I want to know how we're going to react around these areas if we're going to get a steady pressure to the downward move pre-open. And then once open comes, we might get an initial flush, traps everyone short, right? It's going to flush out. It's going to trap everyone short and rip right back up, and people are going to get caught off guard. Or are we going to do the contrary where we rip up and people think, oh my God, we're going to break all-time highs, and they use that as liquidation to flush it back down? That's what I'm going to be paying attention to. You have to obviously wait for price action to go ahead and agree. My demand zone, if you guys cannot see properly, because I don't know how this is going to look when I actually upload it, my demand zone is 17,740.95. That's the bottom end. The top end is 17,769.75. You can say 1770. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? So 1770 is my demand. So about like a 30-point demand zone. And about the same with the supply line. The top of it is going to be 18,087.50. Well, that's the bottom end of it. And then the top end of that supply is going to be 18,122.75 with obviously a price alert at 18,144.75. So just pay attention. I don't know how that's going to end up looking when I post this on YouTube, because I do trade on a widescreen monitor. So sometimes when I upload, the candlesticks could look clunky and weird. So just in case it looks clunky and weird, I want to go ahead and state that. So, and then of course we do have this bottom end zone right here in case we actually do start, rejecting the demand that I currently have set. And by the way, you can tell by these wick bond. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Right here. Look at this wick on my mouse right here. Right here. Look at right here. Right here. Right here. Engulfed over. Flushed down. Reclaimed off of a V shape. This, I believe, was NVIDIA. Or this might have been NVIDIA earnings. One of these. But flushed down, reclaimed, moved, flushed down, reclaimed. So you can see, and look, right here, again, here in this consolidation. So you see how this demand area is kind of, really relevant. So just pay attention to 17,760, 17,760s, maybe 1770, all the way down to 17,740s on the bottom end of that range. Just pay attention to that. If we do give that up, start paying attention to this 17,590s, 17,560s. It doesn't matter where you really put. It doesn't have to be perfect. So, but you'll notice here, wick, reclaim off the flush, failed, and then engulfing move back to the upside. Pay attention to those levels. These levels are going to be prevalent. Place your price alerts. And this is just for NQ. So remember, for flushing down in the morning, do not be like, oh my God, we got to short the market. It can absolutely get bid right back up, right? And then push for all-time highs again. And then if it's up in the morning close to supply, don't rush into that move. Hands off a bit, right? And let the market kind of find what it wants to do. If it starts giving up these levels, previous day's highs, then go ahead and try to go for the fade. If you're able to go ahead and catch that at that supply zone of 18. What is this? Let me zoom in closer. 1880s to 18120s. So just keep that in mind. And then let's go ahead and let's look at ES. ES doesn't look as clean in my opinion. But I will go ahead and state this. I mean, we kind of see these topping wicks here. Let's give it 5,107.84, right? We can see this wick here. We see this wick here, right? Grinded up, engulfed over, flushed right back down. Couple of wicks here. We're seeing that. You can clearly see it from 5,107 to 5,1175. You're seeing some clear topping wicks on the 1 hour. So just be aware of this on the 1 hour, how this is looking. It looks, I mean, look at the daily on this, really. I mean, you have that nasty kind of topping wick that's coming in, but even if you go like, let's say hypothetically weeklies, does this look bearish? Like, really ask yourself, when you pull up a weekly chart, does this actually look bearish? And if the answer is no, like, you know, who knows, bro? This market is very, very euphoric. I don't like how ES looks relative to NQ. But I will say, if you are an ES trader, if you're someone who prefers trading ES, watch this supply level around, you know, 5107 all the way up to 511 or 511175, and then of course set a price alert for all-time highs. Like, I shouldn't have to say it. I'm not gonna put that as my supply line because I don't think it's relevant. So I'll just put like I'll put a price alert. I don't draw on that. Like, I won't draw like a macro supply. I'll just put a price alert there that states all-time highs. So if we do get there, I get alerted and I can see how that level is gonna go ahead and react. Are we gonna base over it, or are we double topping on it? ES does look like it has some relative strength behind it versus NQ. As you can see, like, NQ looks a little bit different. NQ feels a little bit weaker. Just look at that. It looks a little bit weaker. Like, look at where NQ is versus how ES is kind of building. Like, ES looks relatively stronger. I think we can all agree when you look at the two charts, ES looks a bit better for the bullish uptrend. But I do want to show this daily one more time so you guys can see what I actually have marked out. I think that if the ES starts giving up, and I'll zoom this in closer, if the ES starts giving up, I think that we can possibly see this 4958-ish area. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect, but somewhere around here, as you can see, we got this kind of candle here, candle here, candle here. Then we start kind of soaking this level. Soak, went above, flush, wick down, soaked, up, down, soaked. So you guys can see that there's definitely something there to be paying attention to. So on the daily, I'd be looking at that level just in case they want to go ahead and by day, I mean like market makers, just in case what they want to end up doing is flushing under 5,000, because everyone's like, oh my God, 5,000, nice big round number. It's psychological, right? They flush it under, stop a bunch of retail out, and then they rip it right back up. Because really, when you're trading something that's 5,000 points, right, or $5,000 in price, you have to think that 50 points equates to about $5 on a normal stock. Let's say like a $100 stock. That might be a $5 range for a $100 stock, but this is $5,000. So if it comes down, you know, 50 plus points, 70 points, it's really not that significant. So ES doesn't look as appealing as NQ does currently, but you know, it looks like there's some supply building here that you can really be paying close attention to on the 1 hour. Let's see how the 1 minute looks. Let me go ahead and make this a little bit nicer. Kind of look at how these lower highs kind of placed in, right? V shape, and look at where my supply zone is. Is where a lot of the volume is through. Like, notice how this wick comes down, rips back up, down, rips back up, down, flushes under, and stays heavy under. And this is a lot of congestion here. You can see there's a lot of congestion here with these lower highs. Pops back up to this area and then fails. Let me go ahead and also show you how NQ looks on the 1 minute, because I usually trade off of a 1 minute and a 5 minute. So let me go and show you guys how NQ kind of looked. And here you guys go. So notice how nasty this kind of looks. Like, think about how many people thought we were going to break this. Think about that. Like, how many people thought, oh my God, we're dipping and then we're going to rip. You know, I guarantee it was a lot. So, you know, just pay attention to these levels. They're going to be really, really relevant. I did catch a nice V shape right here on Friday. I actually caught I think I caught this level right here at like 17,962. And I rode it all the way up to, I think, this candle right here for like 25 points. Hindsight, always 2020. We ended up surging, but I caught a really nice trade. And, you know, that's basically that. So just pay attention to these key areas. I will go over individual stocks. Be careful. The market feels very euphoric. So there might be a lot of people willing to buy any dip in the market until they really just, you know, pull the bid. They'll pull the bid and then they'll flush it down and, you know, get a lot of people kind of caught off guard on how this market's kind of trading right now. You know, it's very, very euphoric. But either way, I just wanted to go ahead and share that. I will be releasing a kind of a watch list to individual names. So like the Apples, the SMCIs, Nvidia. I actually have another stock that's very interesting. I won't share it here, but it kind of has a similar setup to SMCI, and it has nothing to do with semiconductors. So it's going to be a very, very interesting video. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy. Please don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. And, you know, stay prepared for this week, man. I hope this video, you know, is kind of helping you and uses these levels. And I hope you guys use these levels kind of as a guide because these levels seem like they're going to be pretty prevalent. And I'll be doing this once a week where I go over a watch list of what I'm looking at, how futures market is kind of looking for the following week. And then I do plan on starting to release 3 live trading videos a week. I think I'm going to do Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. And that'll start this week, which means that Monday you'll probably not get a video, but like Wednesday and Friday you should have a couple of live trading videos that I'll be willing to share, whether it's going to be options, equities, or futures trades. I do plan on uploading at least 3 of them live, hopefully, if I actually take trades. I have nothing recorded as of right now, but if I trade, you know, multiple times, I'll look on kind of uploading those, so to kind of educate people on how I trade. But yeah, I did catch this long right here on the V shape, and that's it, man. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure yet again, comment, subscribe, and I'm out of here. Peace.